Good evening. So in a change to the advertised schedule, you will notice when you hear his voice that I am not with Simon as advertised tonight. I am with Mr. Eugene Berger, here to gloat, no doubt, after another wonderful South African victory. Big smile on his face as I look at him on screen now. You must be over the moon,
I
Eugene.
would not have said yes if South Africa had lost again today and Robbo would have had to make a plan. No. It's nice to be back in winning ways after the drilling that India gave us where we came third in that match. But interestingly, good to win a game chasing for a change. That was interesting. And it was at the same ground where India did one over us in terms of, us trying to chase down their targets. So, very happy with the lads' performance. It's at times, I guess, when Rashid was bowling so well. I mean, he had it on a string and looked like he was up for the fight. But it was nice to come through with a 5-wicket win.
So Afghanistan won the toss and decided to bat. Now, I'm not really a stats man, so I couldn't tell you in all the games that Ahmedabad, was that the right call? Was it? I mean, obviously, they lost the game, so obviously not the right call. But I think that's more down to their batting performance as a unit rather than the decision made at the toss. Have you got any inkling as to whether more games have been won by the side batting first or batting second in the World Cup?
No, like you, not really much of an inkling. But what I do know is South Africa, when they bat first, win more than they don't win. So I think anything that would have happened, they would have said, you know what, we'll make South Africa chase because more than likely they will choke, which they didn't on this game. I was on one of the WhatsApp groups in the Fig Jam LMS group, and one certain Blake van der Linde said, is South Africa choking already? Of which I told him to wind his neck in.
Well, I mean, as a fellow South African as well, you wouldn't expect that from Blakey. Fig Jam, what does that stand for?
It stands for freak. I'm good, just ask me. And freak is not the word freak. Please insert expletive as from the word F. It came about. It came about. I used to play for an LMS team, and they were called the Chuck-in Chokers. And they used to have an award called the Fig Jam Award, which is somebody that always was, I'm this good, and I took that brilliant catch, or my 50 was amazing, or I took no wickets. When that team disbanded and we were creating a new one, the natural progression of the next name to be given to our team was Fig Jam. So Fig Jam London.
And some wonderful, wonderful blokes that turn out for that LMS side on a weekly basis. So back to the game then. Yeah. Afghanistan 2-4-4 all out. I think from memory, from what I heard, Gerald Coetzee returning with best career figures of 4 for 44.
That's correct, yeah.
From 10.
Yeah.
So when we were doing our predictions at the start of the tournament, I backed Ngidi as one of my kind of big four, and he's not really done it for me. But today, it's still a bit expensive, 2 for 69 off 8.5. Probably not been quite as good as certainly I would have expected him to be in the tournament. I know he's been carrying a couple of nickels and he's not played in every game. But what's your what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a word and I can't find it. This isn't the first time this has happened, and it certainly won't be the last. What is your summation, let's go with, that wasn't the word I was trying to think of the South African bowling unit throughout the tournament? You'd say that the batting's been the strongest suit.
Definitely, yeah. My assessment of the bowling unit has been...
That's it. That's the word I was looking for. Why didn't you say that when I was struggling?
It was just nice to watch you struggle for a change. Yeah, I mean, look, with Janssen out today, I actually don't know whether he was rested or if it was a tactical change because he bowled so badly against the Indians. Maybe he just needed a break. I don't know. But it was nice to see Rabada and Ngidi open the bowling. They did fairly well. Good couple of dot balls. Ngidi, you expect more from him, but I suppose the challenge that you often have with Ngidi is he bowls in the tougher periods of the game. He bowls at the death. He goes for a lot more when people are just swinging the bat at everything. So, Gerald Coetzee, he's been solid. Good forfeit today. He was very excited with his first wicket. I don't know if you saw his celebration, but it was a little bit OTT. It was over the top there. But yeah, he was very excited. And I mean, what a revelation Maharaj has been. I mean, he's got it on a string, right? He took his 2 for 25, yeah. Some great bowling.
See, it's funny you say a revelation. I mean, I rate him highly. I think he's a great multi-format cricketer. I mean, I'm probably not given enough credit for his batting.
Yeah.
He's batted well at times.
Yes,
this tournament. he's certainly got Test match 50s.
Yeah.
Probably a bit harder in the white ball stuff for him, but he knows which end of it to pick up first. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's definitely one of the better sloggers, is the way I'd call it. I mean, if you're looking for somebody to score quick runs at the end of the innings, I've seen him do it in South African colours before. He hasn't had the opportunity to really do much this tournament because the batting unit has fired. And when he has batted, I mean, against the Netherlands and India, I think he was basically just spending some time out there because it wasn't like, the game wasn't in the balance, where I think it's just good to get some time out there. I think that's a good tactic from people. When you're on the end of the losing team, it's always good just to stretch it out and go as far and as deep as you
Just
can.
kind of a net.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Just go and actually spend a bit of time in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that crunch game, and forgive me because I'm probably going to get this wrong. I'm going to say Sri Lanka, but it may have been Bangladesh. But he actually came in and won the game in that really tight. So who was that against?
I can't remember either, if I'm honest. I know we won it by 1 wicket. I think it was Bangladesh.
Yeah, and it was a much tighter game than it probably ever should have been, to be honest. But yeah, so just to run, I mean, through the card, as it were. I mean, Afghanistan were always going to struggle. There was only one batsman in Azmatullah Omazar who got more than 26. Ashar got 26. Noor Ahmed, the back end batting at 9, got 26. The bars 25. Zadran couldn't back up that amazing 100 against Australia. He was 15 from 30. That must have been, could see his first wicket where he was very excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, Azmatullah Omazai, I mean, he came in and hit it clean against the Aussies the other day. But 97 off 107, 7 fours, 3 sixes, decent, and not out as well. They could have been bowled out for a lot less had he not have really applied himself.
And he applied himself very, very well. Very unlucky not to get that 100. It took something very special for him not to get there in that fielding. That Ngidi stuck his boot out and ran out the non-striker. I think he was just really unlucky with a strike. If it was another day, he might have got there and he might have got his 100 to become the second Afghanistani player to get 100 in the World Cup. I think he deserved it.
I think games as well. They'd have been back to back, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think he deserved it. I mean, Rashid Khan did a great job, holding fort with him when it looked like they could end up with a score of sub 200. And yeah, it was just good to see the tail wag and them get to close to 250.
Andy Feflakwayo, have I got that anywhere near right?
Yeah, Feflakwayo, that's spot on. Yeah, spot on.
Oh, perfect. Obviously not played a lot. He's come on and fielded as sub when Quinton couldn't be bothered a few times.
Yeah, yes.
But he 1 for 36 off 7, bowls a lot of variations, probably quite difficult to play at times.
Yeah.
He's done a reasonable job, you'd say, and then he came in and he got 39 out with the bat as well. He's a decent all-round cricketer.
It was really funny though. I mean, you look at the stats and you think he's had a fairly decent knock there. When he came in, he looked like he didn't know which end of the bat to hold because Rashid Khan, I mean, the spinners had him in all sorts of knots. Noor Ahmed, Rashid Khan, they were bowling. Muhammad Nabi, they were just bowling unbelievably well. So it was, what I really enjoyed watching was they took it deep. And then when the seamers came back on, they just absolutely whopped it everywhere. So, they knew that they had time. The captain from the Afghanistan point of view did what he needed to. He went for the kill early on by carrying on with his strike bowlers. Unfortunately, on this occasion, the likes of Van der Dusen, who held the innings together, and Feflakwayo really, really batted well to get us home.
Rassi's had a decent tournament, hasn't he? He's I think probably, I don't want to say underrated because I think he is rated pretty highly, but a bit of an unsung hero for South Africa. I don't know what it is with Van der Dusen. He's not shy of a word.
Yeah.
He's obviously quite a combative cricketer. I don't know whether that many people like him. I find him, he's almost one of those lads that he's very, very talented and you appreciate the talent that he's got and the runs that he's made. But he's quite difficult to love as a neutral even, he's I find it quite a bit marmite.
He is. He has I don't know if it's the right term, but he has a resting bitch face. He just looks angry all the time. And I mean, he keeps to himself when he needs to be. And I think he's very unassuming. He doesn't wallop the ball like somebody like Quinton de Kock or have the elegant shots. It's just a gritty Graham Smith-esque, finding a way how to score runs. And I mean, He's moved himself up into sixth on the player stats in terms of runs scored. You know, he scored 442 in
Yeah.
his 9 games at an average of 55. I mean, you can't complain for a number 3 to be, you know, number 6 up there. I mean, it's good to see that South Africa have 3 batsmen in the top 10, which is really, really positive.
Yeah. So that would be De Kock, Van der Dussen, and it's got to be Klaassen, I
Markram,
suppose.
actually. Markram, yeah.
Oh, Markham.
Yeah.
Well, Klaassen can't be too far away. But is he a concern? Because, well, a couple of concerns, actually. From what I did manage to see today, Bavuma is hurt his hamstring pretty
Yeah.
badly. Still went out to bat, but massive risk now with not a huge amount of time between today's game and the semi-final. Like, is your captain going to be fit?
Well, I think half of South Africa is hoping that he's not going to be fit, just so that we can get Reza Hendricks into the side. I mean, he's come in, he scored 100. Again, nothing against him, but he just hasn't scored runs. I think I saw a stat that he scored 90 runs in.
He was averaging 20 before today, and
He's
he's
averaging
only got 23
I
today.
think he's averaging 13. Again, I stand to be corrected there. You know,
I don't know. I think it's in the World Cup. I'm going to say it's about 20, maybe pushed to 21 after today.
yeah, okay. But I mean, still, for an opening bat, that's not something you want to be averaging, considering when you look at our other opener who's averaging in the 80s or, you know, there and thereabouts. So
is Klaassen, considering the start he had to the tournament, are we worried about his form now heading into the crunch end of the tournament?
I just don't think he's been, you know, he's got a certain game style and it might have worked him out. He likes going back. Rashid Khan skittled him today with a really good slider that just came on and nicked the top of off, or I say took the top of off right off. But yeah, I mean, from my perspective, he's still somebody that has a job to do in the semi-final. I think he's also played on pitches that are not being conducive for his style of batting to give it a good wallop, you know.
Okay.
You know, the against India and against Afghanistan today, they played at the same venue. It's one of those venues that turns a lot, where I think the semi-finals in a different place, which is a good thing for South Africa. It means that they have a different pitch, and I think they've won more often than not when we start looking at that venue. And from memory, I think we are playing in Kolkata, which is a better pitch for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, good from that point of view.
In terms of the chase, then, because you know, there's for years and years and years, South Africa have been, you know, at this level that they choke when chasing, blah blah blah. Obviously, against a team in Afghanistan that have probably overachieved in the World Cup, it's obviously a key to get a win. Chasing, you're going to play against Australia in the semi-final. Yep. Does chasing 245 to win today against Afghanistan, does that give you enough confidence to then maybe think you can chase against Australia? Or is it just a case of, okay, we've kind of proven a little bit of something, but it was against a team that we should expect to score 245 against anybody?
Yeah.
You know, are they going to really struggle to chase 320, 330 against, or do we genuinely think that, you know, if they field first, they've got the opportunity?
Look, I'm using Afghanistan as the measuring stick because the fortunate thing is Australia played Afghanistan on Tuesday. Afghanistan scored 291 and an innings from Maxwell, you know, held them got Australia to the victory. South Africa had this in a little bit more of a convincing way today, where Afghanistan only scored 244 and then chased it down 5 down. Admittedly, it didn't look as convincing as those 5 wickets, but you use Afghanistan as a yardstick there. You'd like to think that in that semi-final, and look, we're at knockout cricket now. Anything can happen, and that goes for the second semi-final. If it is as we think it's going to be in India versus New Zealand, you know, New Zealand can do one over on arguably what we think is an unbeatable India side. So from my perspective, I think South Africa, Australia come Saturday, should I say. I think it's going to be a Wednesday. Why am I saying Saturday? It's Wednesday next week that they play. I think it's going to be a really, really good fight, and, you know, may the best team win, and hopefully that is South Africa.
Well, obviously they had that wonderful series, didn't they, just before the World Cup, where I think the Aussies went 2-0 up and then the South Africans came back to win it 3-2. So, you know, there is some recent history between the two. They've obviously played each other in the World Cup. And I think that, you know, two really, really strong sides going at it. And I think that both semi-finals are going to... I just hope that the Kiwis' injury problems aren't really going to hurt them against India, because I think they could be two fantastic semi-finals. Just before we move on to tomorrow, Afghanistan, you've got to say, they've overachieved compared to what we would have expected at the start of the tournament. But those guys, Jonathan Trott as their head coach, their entire staff, and the lads who have played throughout this World Cup in Afghanistan's colours can be extremely proud of what they've done. They've brought a lot of smiles to a lot of faces with the cricket that they've played.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anybody would say that Afghanistan shouldn't be in the Champions Trophy come next year. I think they deserve their place. They've played phenomenal cricket. They've been led very well. They've grown as a team, which is more important. I've seen some of these guys come through where they didn't know which end of the bat to hold at the beginning of the tournament to, them almost scoring 200. So, yeah, it's been a fantastic transformation that they've been through from the beginning to the end. It feels like it was about 10 years ago that we started, but, it's good to see them. It's good to see them maturing as the tournament's gone on.
Absolutely. So on to tomorrow then. Now, if people want to get up at the Sparrows Fart, Australia versus Bangladesh starts at 5 a.m.
Yep.
Moving swiftly on, because I certainly will not be, unless the baby wakes me up, in which case I will be up. But he likes to watch like Miss Rachel and other terrible children's stuff. So I won't be watching the cricket regardless unless I've got it on my phone. But then obviously England against Pakistan. Now, we know that there are certain
permutations,
that mean Pakistan can go through into full spot, but it looks incredibly unlikely.
Yeah.
England playing for pride.
Yep.
They still really probably could do with that extra 2 points to guarantee. Or will they? Because what we haven't talked about yet, Sri Lanka. We'll do that in a second.
No, we'll do that tomorrow when Robbo's on.
We'll do that. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Robert, Mr. Opinionated, Mr. Roberts. Yeah, I'll discuss that with him tomorrow. Yeah. No. It's me and you again tomorrow. I'm with Simon on Sunday. But England against Pakistan, how do we expect that to go? We're expecting a good game.
I'm expecting a good game, and I'm expecting England to win this one because I think that they are playing for a lot of pride. I think England are hurting. I think they're going to come out and try and play the cricket that they've tried to play throughout the tournament. Not saying that they haven't played well, but they just haven't clicked. And I think tomorrow is going to be the game where they come out firing and put on a good show. Either, I think I haven't gone thrashing, but I've gone win comfortably on Super Brew, which is good.
Okay. Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. I'm not going to give my predictions because they're always wrong. But Eugene says comfortable win for England tomorrow.
One correction we quickly do have to issue is that Maharaj, that winning game was against Pakistan, by the way. I forgot about that.
It was, of course it was, because that was a crunch game
it was.
For Pakistan.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so well done for that correction. Right, I don't think I've said anything to you tonight that will cause the Twickenham faithful to get on my back, which is nice. But yeah, two big games tomorrow. As we say, Afghanistan can leave this year's World Cup absolutely heads held high. Phenomenal performance from them. We've got two fantastic semi-finals to look forward to over the next 3 months. And yeah, maybe at some point during February, we will be able to say goodbye to the 2023 Men's World Cup. I will be back with Mr. Berger tomorrow.
Yep, you will actually. Yeah.
We will be talking about Sri Lanka and the news that's come out about Sri Lanka today. Governmental problems, cricket board problems. Not the first time we've heard this about Sri Lanka during our lifetimes. But hopefully by tomorrow we'll have a bit more on that, so we can form a slightly better conversational piece about it. But until then, thank you as always for joining us. Thank you to Eugene for joining me. And we'll catch you again tomorrow. Lots of love.
Cheers. Bye.